All right, y'all. So, of course, this SmackDown in the beginning of it was about Hulk Hogan. And like I said, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. But however, CJAX is back with his rant, and he still thinks SmackDown is trash. I didn't think so. I thought it was pretty average, but, to him it was kind of. But we'll go ahead and get to the rant, but we still got to show our condolences to Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. But we'll get to the rant. Just want to, just send my condolences to Hulk Hogan's family or whatnot. But, the memorial was very rough, very rough. But I still want to give this man his flowers for what he done for the business for WWE. So, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. But we're going to go ahead and get to the entertainment because I know you guys want to, see the rant. But just let y'all know it's not that long. It's like 13 minutes because, CJAX made it very clear he ain't rocking with SmackDown because he knows that SmackDown's not being produced right. And we're going to leave it at that. So let's go ahead and get to the video.
Y'all, SmackDown is so bad. I have to sit back and just laugh at how awful this show is. It's a 2-hour show. I shut it off like 50 minutes before it's done because I don't give a crap about what happens in the last hour of this show. I saw the Cody promo, and that's basically the main event of the night. They have nothing going on here. It's a bunch of uncreative rematches and, matches that nobody cares about. The main event of a SmackDown in 2025 is Andrade and Rey Fenix versus the Wyatt Six. Like, just think about that for a second. We obviously had the situation with Logan and Drew McIntyre, which is just terrible that Drew McIntyre is being belittled to that. Same with Orton and same with Logan, but it is what it is. You had them two versus Orton and Jelly Roll, RK Roll or whatever they're calling it. Alexa Bliss had one of the worst matches of her career. Jade Cargill had a pointless and dumb match with Chelsea Green, and Tiffany Stratton for some reason came out to help. And then Cody Rhodes cut a mediocre at best. I mean, it's honestly kind of bad promo. I didn't even know what was he trying to even do? He kind of got to the point later on in it, but we'll talk about that. This episode sucked, man. It was garbage, okay? Let's be honest with ourselves. The best thing about this show was the opening of the show, in which they paid tribute to Hulk Hogan, who obviously passed away a couple days ago at 71 years old, okay? They started off the show. Triple H gave a speech basically talking about Hulk Hogan and, his legacy in the ring, outside of the ring, and what he meant to Triple H. And so they brought, like, all of the, superstars out there on the roster, all came out there. They had the whole memoriam, graphic for Hulk Hogan and, his passing. And they basically did the 10 ring salute, they're saying the 10 bell ring salute, and they basically did that to pay tribute to Hulk Hogan. Triple H had a nice little speech, obviously, like I mentioned, basically just talking about how everyone looked up to Hulk Hogan. They idolized him. He helped build this business, and he was an idol for many little kids who wanted to get into wrestling, and he referenced things of that nature. And then obviously afterwards, like I said, they did the 10 rings, and then they actually played like a 5-minute video kind of tracking Hulk Hogan's life, inside and outside of the ring, and as a celebrity and things of that nature, just highlighting his real impact on the world of professional wrestling, and that it would really not be the way it is without him, which is obviously very true. Okay, it is what it is. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see all of this. The whole crowd was cheering, saying thank you Hogan, and all that stuff. Thank you Hulk, thank you Hogan, all that stuff. So yeah, good to see them pay respects to Hulk Hogan here. Obviously, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Yeah, it was definitely, one of those moments where you just have to sit back and look at things on the surface and, realize, wow, Hulk Hogan, one of the icons of the history of pro wrestling, has passed away. And, it really is, a big moment. It is a cornerstone moment because eventually, obviously my parents, they grew up, they're in the generation with the Rocks and the Austins. And then before that, you had Hogan and Andre the Giant, etc. And, once we get older, I'm only 20 years old, but, in about 10, 15, 20 years from now, that's when we'll start to see people that we grew up with getting old, like your Edge. I mean, they're already in their early 50s, late 40s now, Edge, Cena's, Punk's, Jeff Hardy's, right? Like, it's, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, they're already getting older. They're older, already. So it's going to be crazy, man. When you actually see some of these people you grew up with pass away as we get, older decades in the future. Hopefully, it's many decades in the future before people start to pass away here. So yeah, nice opening little heartfelt beginning to the show. I enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty cool. It's also very informational too. They did a good job laying down the story and the foundations for, what's called Hulk Hogan's legacy as an entertainer and as a performer. So thought that was cool.
I was on my way home when I watched this video, and I ain't gonna lie, man, I was so emotional because I grew up watching him, and now to see him gone like this is just unfortunate because I just wish Miss McMahon was there. It's unfortunate that he wasn't there to honor his memorial, but however, you know how it goes. You know what's going on behind the scenes, and it is what it is. But it breaks my heart to just the fact that he's gone. But regardless how you feel about him, he's still a legend in this business. And if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be no WWE or any other wrestling promotion. And it just hurts talking about it, The fact that I grew up just playing this guy in the video games and watching him on television, it just hurts, man, because, I understand, God has his plan and, and when it's time to go, you got to go. But I just wish his last moment was that would have been much special if he didn't get booed at Netflix. But this generation don't deserve him, man. But all we can do is acknowledge his legacy. That's all we can do. Rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Condolences to his family and friends. Long live Hogan, man. Long live the GOAT. Long live the icon.
We then moved on and got Logan Paul basically talking about Jelly Roll. And, already the energy of the show was thrown off a bit because, there's obviously, unfortunate, it kind of brought everything down that they were talking about Hulk Hogan's passing and having to pay tribute to him. But then we had Logan Paul come out. The crowd got a little bit more energy. They got a little bit energetic. Logan Paul got his cheap heat in. He basically said that that Jelly Roll is KFC, a convicted or a Kentucky fried convict or something like that. I thought that was funny. And then Logan Paul says he's nothing like the rest of these people from his hometown of Cleveland because he made it out and they didn't. You know what I'm saying? So he got that. And then he basically says, and I thought this was a really mistimed and stupid joke. He basically says that he could hear the fans saying, "Thank you, Logan," earlier when they were saying, "Thank you, Hogan." Just a stupid mistimed joke. I really hated this line, but, it is what it is, man. I don't know what the heck the point of that is, but he is a heel. He has to play the character, so it is what it is. I just thought it was corny. It wasn't really funny at all, and it's kind of misplaced, so I don't know, whatever. Then we move on. Jelly Roll then comes out. Jelly Roll's theme song is absolute garbage. I thought they were going to give him that theme song of his one song he had for the SummerSlam theme last year where he's like, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like Cody Rhodes. Respect to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So, but yeah, no, Jelly Roll comes out to a garbage theme, and basically he lays down the foundations of what he's fighting for at SummerSlam. He says he's fighting for the fans. He's fighting for everyone who grew up poor and had to make it out, make it out of the mud. You know what I'm saying? Make it out of the struggle, you dig? And he's fighting to be, like that kid who fights back against that jock bully, idiot in high school that people had to deal with. That's basically the merits of what Jelly Roll is fighting for, he says, against Logan Paul. This whole segment is just disrespectful to pro wrestling at this point. The fact that you have people backstage, such as Carmelo Hayes, for example, or a Montez Ford, who are getting no screen time this week or even last week, but yeah, you can put Jelly Roll out here to cut a live mic promo for 10 minutes. This is just embarrassing. Drew McIntyre then comes out. He can't stop thinking about Punk. You know what I'm saying? That was actually a really good one, man. You know what I'm saying? You might get them rock goosebumps up in you. You know what I'm saying? However, Drew McIntyre comes out. He stands there as per usual. The fact that this dude went from having an amazing 2024 and being world champion, and then all of a sudden now he's fighting to he's getting a bare bones garbage storyline match versus Jelly Roll and Randall Orton. This is the type of stuff that we have to look at. The poor booking of Drew McIntyre. LA Knight, as far as I'm concerned, I shut it off 50 minutes early, but, nearly an hour early at this point, but still, I don't even know if LA Knight was even on the show tonight, and he might not even get used at SummerSlam, which is just embarrassing, okay? But basically, Jelly Roll and Randy Orton stand tall at the end of this brawl, as predicted. It's a little brawl segment. Logan Paul throws some of the worst fake-looking punches of all time. Jelly Roll hits like a Wade Barrett at the end of days. What was the move that way? Not the end of days, that's Baron Corbin. What was the move that, I think it was called the Way of Wade, maybe was it? Whatever it was, man. And Jelly Roll hits that move basically on Logan Paul or some variation of it, and then basically him and Orton stand tall. The fact that Logan Paul is supposed to be billed as a future world champion or the future of the industry, a big-time celebrity who's going to make it as a world champion in this industry, and he's getting jobbed out by Jelly Roll on Jimmy Kimmel. He got jobbed out on SmackDown, and now he's getting jobbed out on SmackDown again, just beat up. This makes him look terrible. It makes Drew look worse, and it makes Randy Orton look like an absolute jobber. This dude used to break into people's houses, or not, no, sorry. He used to knock out Stephanie McMahon and then give her a kiss as Triple H is watching. Sorry. That's what the diabolical legend killer Randy Orton actually was. This new version of Randy Orton isn't Randy Orton now. This is Randall Orton. You know what I'm saying? This is Randall Orton now at this point. So this is just stupid. Alexa Bliss then comes out, and her and Roxanne Perez managed to put on one of the worst matches I've seen all year. By far, it might be the worst match I've seen all year, and one of the worst matches I've seen from Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez, even though she's young in her career. There was incredible botches in this match. Just some of the worst looking wrestling you'll ever see. Choppy moves, very choreographed. They botched multiple punches. They botched different spots where there's counters. The roll-ups weren't smooth. This was just so choppy and botchy and awful to watch and awful to look at, and it was just very embarrassing. Even the part where Raquel's about to put Charlotte in a powerbomb, and she has to hold her there. I counted it. She had to hold her there for like 10 to 12 seconds just to wait for Alexa Bliss to turn 2 feet to then do her Twisted Bliss. Then Alexa Bliss botches the Twisted Bliss and almost hits the back of her head on the table, but she still got a bloody nose from that move or something else that happened, and so she botched something else. Then she got rolled up. There's no creativity here, man. Last week we had Charlotte versus Raquel, and outside there were shenanigans with Roxanne and Alexa, and then Charlotte went off a roll-up. Now this week you get Roxanne versus Alexa. There's shenanigans outside, and Roxanne wins with a roll-up. So they split 1-1 between the teams. Obviously, Charlotte and Alexa are going to win those belts next week. This is stupid. It's wasting people's time, and it's wasting people's career. It's absolutely embarrassing at this point. Alexa Bliss ends up with a bloody nose, and she gets rolled up by Roxanne Perez. This match was genuinely horrible, but this is the basic SmackDown content you get now, so I can't be surprised.
Well, shout out to Roxanne. I'm glad she got that win. It's unfortunate that Raquel couldn't win against Charlotte, but politics, I guess. But here's the thing. We don't know who's going to win this. We really don't. But I just hope that if Roxanne and Raquel lose, that they will find a way to get gold. Rather, it's Raquel going after the IC belt or Roxanne going after the Women's World title. But I would prefer if both two ladies, right, go after 2 singles titles and they bring the gold back to the Judgment Day, right? And as for Charlotte and Alexa, if they lose, you already know Charlotte is not going to keep her word when she say, hey, we're partners. But however, if you're looking for friendship, we got to win the gold first before we ever establish that. Here, I'll play the clip.
I mean, we're partners, aren't we?
You're going to say friends,
No, I wasn't partners. Maybe after we become champions at SummerSlam, I'll think about it.
Yeah, so, look, I don't know who's going to win. It's unpredictable. I just hope this is this will be a clean match. Now, I don't know who's going to interfere. I don't know if Dominic Mysterio is going to interfere. I don't know if Liv Morgan is going to interfere. I pray that none of that happens and they win by, pinfall or submission. That's what I'm hoping, and that's what I'm praying for. But y'all comment down below. What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to win this match? Do you think that Roxanne and Raquel are going to retain? Or do you think that Alexa and Charlotte are going to win? Y'all comment down below. Let me know. Because I really don't know. I really don't. But either way, it's going to be a great match. Just got to figure out who's going to win. But I don't care. Let's just enjoy it. But still, comment down below. Let me know who you think is going to win.
We then follow this up with Jade Cargill, basically, has some issue with Chelsea Green backstage because Chelsea Green's randomly complaining about the Queen of the Ring tournament, and then Jade Cargill jobs her out. She then gets beat up by the Secret Service for like 2 seconds, and then Tiffany Stratton comes out. Now remember, the reason why I told you guys during my Raw review this week that this whole thing when Rhea, Stephanie Bacchara, and Io were all standing out there, and the Secret Service came out, and were trying to fight against them, and they got jobbed out, I told you, Raw and SmackDown are just a bunch of messy, just nonsense. Nothing makes sense, nothing connects. CJAX. If the people who were just fighting the Secret Service on Monday, Rhea, Io, and Stephanie Vaquer, why are they not here to fight back against the Secret Service tonight? But Tiffany Stratton is. And when is the last time Tiffany Stratton has interacted with anyone on the Secret Service? It makes no sense because Triple H, and you have to think about this, what has WWE done to build this feud between Tiffany and Jade that's been brewing now for like a month since Queen of the Ring? It's supposed to be getting built, and we've got nothing to build it. Tiffany then comes out, they both hold the belt, Jade Cargill holds the belt, and they both hold it across from each other to make it seem like, oh, who's gonna get it? Oh, it's a power struggle. Like, shut up, man. Triple H is the most uncreative guy on the planet. This is so stupid. Just poor booking and just no build at all.
Yep. All right. Well, enough with Chelsea Green, but let me just say this, right? I do think this match is going to be interesting. I'm rooting for Jade Cargill to win this belt just because she really need this win. I mean, she's been down for too long now. It's time for her to get something, and I think we all are getting tired of the Tiffany Stratton reign of Tiffy time when Tiffy time is up and Jay's time is now on some John Cena type shit. So we'll see what happens next weekend, but I am looking forward to this match, and I'm rooting for Jade Cargill. No disrespect to Tiffany, but it's predictable, you know? So we'll see what happens next weekend.
Cody Rhodes then comes out. He gives respect to Hulk Hogan, understandably, and then he basically says that he wants violence at SummerSlam in the street fight with John Cena. He wants John Cena to actually bring his true self, not this new, story that we don't believe in with John Cena. He wants John Cena to bring his classic self where he's running out to the ramp. He's wearing the championship the right way. He doesn't have a scowl on his face, and he gives his actual best effort in the match. I've never seen an actual promo between a face and a heel where the face comes out to the ring and asks the heel to be a face again. That's all this promo was. There's no actual intrigue or entertainment value with any of the stuff that came out of Cody Rhodes' mouth inside of this segment. This was stupid. It was boring, and nobody cares about it. Again, Dr. Libations cannot get near any world championship gold ever again. We have to stop this. Unless he's going to have some amazing character change and he's going to do some amazing work, we can't let him get a world title because he's that bad and he's that boring. We then basically got a Jacob Fatu versus The Miz match. The Miz is in his hometown of Cleveland. He's upset that Jacob Fatu, apparently put him out of action 6 weeks ago. I don't even remember that happened because all these Smackdowns are forgettable, and they fight each other. And then obviously this match basically just divulges into a big brawl between Solo and his MFT, and then obviously between Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu gets laid out by Solo and his group, and Big Jim came out there to try and get the save, but they all got beat up. Predictable garbage, same thing we've been seeing for months at this point. We then move on. I think after this there was some backstage segment where Zelina Vega is trying to challenge Julia for the U.S. title, and it's been officially revealed that Kiana James is now back. She's returned, and she's now going to be Julia's assistant now, her mouthpiece basically. So this might work out. I don't know. Kiana James and Julia seems like this could end up being something decent in the mid card for the women's division. I'll give it that. But Zelina Vega, we need to move on from this already, man. Get some new women's mid cards in here. We just saw Evolution. You had all the talent out there, and this is what you're reverting to. Really? You know what I'm saying? Like come on, bro.
Well, I told people that Zelina was going to get a rematch. I mean, I don't know why people thought that she was going to get new challengers. I mean, nope. She's facing the same challenger, and that's Zelina Vega. I told y'all that was going to happen. So, I mean, that's good that Selena's getting a rematch, but I don't know if she's going to win it, though. I doubt it. But, hey, at least now that Kiana James is back, maybe in the next 3 or 4 months, she'll turn on Julia and then hopefully beat her for the title so that way, she can get her title run, But we'll see. That's down the road, though. So we'll see how it goes.
Then we move on from this, and then I'm pretty sure we got the tag team match main event, which nobody cares about. It ended up being a big, massive brawl with the Wyatt Six and everyone else, all the tag teams, the same stuff we've been seeing for months. This show is so uncreative, it's not even worth yelling about tonight, man. I don't have the energy to be doing all this, you know what I'm saying? I had a great day today, and I'm not going to sit here and just, wallow in the garbage that we just got on this episode. So this episode gets a 1 out of 10, one of the worst Smackdowns of all time, and it just is what it is. There's nothing happening on these shows. There's no stars, there's no star power, there's no intrigue, there's no extra, creativity. There's no special storylines. There's no must-see television aspect to this SmackDown or to any SmackDown in recent memory. So I don't know what to say about this. It was absolute garbage and borderline. Actually, no, it was unwatchable. That's why I shut it off early. So yeah, there you go. I know this video was melancholic, obviously after the Hulk Hogan passing, it took energy at a lot of things, and this SmackDown episode sounds dead, but the actual content itself was dead too. It was just garbage. I don't want to come on here and be a, sound like down or whatever, but quite frankly, this episode sucked, but it is what it is. I told you guys for now going about a year, it's going to be, since I started making these videos, it's going to be about a year, once about a month from now, it'll be basically mark a year, since I've been telling you guys this product sucks. It's only getting worse and worse and worse by the month, and now by the week now it is, by each show, and now you look where it's at, and this is not surprising to me in the slightest. So this episode was absolute garbage. Like I said, 1 out of 10 at best, and it is what it is. As always, I thank you guys so much for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out in one love.
Well, I don't got much to say either, but just say rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, and shout out to Roxanne for getting that win, like I said before, and shout out to Zelina for getting a rematch against Julia, and I'm glad that Kyle James is back. And I don't know what's going to happen with Charlotte and Alexa if they win next weekend, okay, but I hope that Roxanne and Raquel get some single titles before Liv Morgan comes back. That's what I hope, you know what I'm saying? And as for everything else, I really don't care about. But, however, I am happy that we have a tag team match at SummerSlam. It's going to be a 5-way. It's not going to be a 4-way. It's going to be a 5-way tag team match, table, ladders, and chairs, which I think that's historical because it's always been triple threat. It's never been like something like this where you have 5 teams. So I think that's going to be history making in the books, and I can't wait to watch it. So just remember, SummerSlam is next weekend at either 6 or 3 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock. So make sure you guys tune in for that. It's both nights, Saturday and Sunday. So we will be going stream that day. But y'all get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. And I'll catch y'all in the next video, all right? Rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. I'm out.